All right, Shay, this is your era. Your reaction to this?
I don't think anybody's surprised by this, Stephen A. We saw it. Because I think the thing that Tom Brady sought most was validation and confirmation from Coach Beilichick. And Coach Beilichick was unwilling to give them that. Because even when Tom Brady's team game, the defense took the ball away, so forth and so on. So all the things that Tom Brady wanted to get close to Coach Belichick always kept him at arm's distance. He always treated like college. Like in 4 years, you're going to be moving on. So Coach Belichick really didn't get close to players because he knew at some point in time, the closer you are to a player, the harder it is for you to move on from said player, Stephen A. And that rubbed Tom. And then when Seth Wickersham came out with that article and Coach Belichick wanted to move Tom Brady out and put Jimmy G in, that was it. That was it, because we always, Stephen A., before I even joined you, who gets more credit for the Patriots' success? Is it Brady or Belichick? There was really no way to definitively know unless we had a separation, unless we had a split. Okay, we got that. Tom left no doubt. Not saying all, but he was more responsible for the Patriot way and the Patriot success than Coach Belichick, because we saw Tom leave and go win another Super Bowl, and Coach Belichick ended up moving on, and now he's coaching college football. But I'm not surprised by this, because if you study it and look at the way they treated Tom, you know it's just going to be, there's no way it was going to end well for Tom Brady in New England.
Here's what I don't like, Shannon. You know, when it comes to people like me and you, let me tell you something we don't get. Let me tell you something we don't get enough credit for. Very rare in the day do you associate the word ambiguity with us. You know exactly what we feel.
Right.
You know exactly why. Tom Brady, natural tension. That's my brother. I love Tom Brady. Respectfully, what the hell does that mean? Natural tension, that's all you got? I mean, you're in the media now, bro. Now, I know you're part owner of the Vegas Raiders. I mean, but damn, you got a $375 million contract for fun. I mean, if you go sit up
give
there.
Give you a little bit, Stephen A., not too much.
I'm just saying, give us something. That ain't nothing. Listen, here's the deal, y'all. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick did it. Yo, man, he didn't want me. He tried to get rid of me for Jimmy G. He's ready to move on. And then even after that, and I proved that I still belonged, that I was worthy. And even after that, the man still didn't want to resign himself to the fact, that I should be able to retire here as a New England Patriot. That offends me. You know, something along those lines, because that's really what happened. Because I'll tell you what I was told. What I was told, even when Tom Brady was walking out the door, if Bill Belichick had said to Tom Brady, I don't want to lose you, I want you to stay, Tom Brady's staying in New England. Bill Belichick refused to do that. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
You figure out who told me. I'm telling you what I was told directly.
Yes. Stephen A., I think the thing was Tom, all of a sudden, he's like, look, I've been here for such a long time. I don't want to be here all offseason. I don't want to do all these OTAs. I don't want to do all this offseason conditioning, because he said one of us need to reassess. Coach Belichick needed to reassess. You know what, Tom? Go ahead. We good. And he was unwilling to do that. His style was his style, and he wanted to keep everybody in check. Because if you keep the head dog in check, you keep the lead dog in check.
Up, and Mike T has got a new mock draft out. I'll remind everyone these are the picks he would make if he were in the chair for each of these teams. And he has three quarterbacks going in round one. He has Cam Ward, as everyone does, going number 1 to Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders going 3 to the Giants. Jackson Dart going 26 to the Rams. Worth noting, in Mel Kiper's most recent mock, he had Jackson Dart going 9 to New Orleans. And then he does not have Tyler Shuck in the first round or any other quarterback in the first round. So those would be the three quarterbacks that he has going in round one. Mike, let's start at number 3. We can sort of put number 1 to bed, right? Cam Ward's going 1 to Tennessee. We talked about it earlier, and there's not a lot of reason to go much farther than that. Talk me through Shedeur to the Giants at 3.
I like Shedeur Sanders. I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. I comp him to Kirk Cousins. I think he has a really high floor. Maybe not the biggest ceiling in the world, but he's accurate. He led the nation in completion percentage and he's extremely tough, Greeny. 94 sacks over the last 2 years. So I think he's a good player. I just don't see elite skills.
So we are overrun with fans of the New York Giants on the staff of this show, and every one of them opined this morning on this possibility. Let me hear from Tim Hasselbeck. Tim, if the Giants is the Giants taking Shedeur Sanders at number 3 the right pick?
If he's as good as Kirk Cousins, it's the right pick. That might sound crazy because Kirk Cousins was a 4th-round pick. But Kirk Cousins, played winning football, stabilized the quarterback position, and the stops where he's been. So, look, if Washington would have done the right thing and given him the deal he deserved early on, they'd have been better for it. So, look, Mike T is saying, his comp is Kirk Cousins. Again, I'm not trying to, and I hate to say this, in some ways, because I think people are going to read it the wrong way. I actually think the comp is Andy Dalton. Now, Andy Dalton's another guy that's thrown over 250, touchdowns throughout his career. Andy Dalton stabilized things in Cincinnati. Andy Dalton took that organization to the playoffs 4 different times. And Mike said something I think is critical to kind of listen to. He's a good quarterback. I think that there's confidence that he will be a good quarterback. I actually think that he's very pro-ready with how he's been coached, with how smart he is, how he plays the position. And so I think that's just this tricky, area to be but we're picking at the top of the draft. And so do you want to draft a good quarterback at the top of the draft? Or are you hopeful to draft a great quarterback at the top of the draft? Look, I think you can make the argument that drafting a good one, a guy that'll be a starter for a decade, is still the right decision. Look, Andy Dalton didn't win a Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins, didn't win a Super Bowl. There's the element of, well, what do you do? But drafting the guy, Trey Lance, Anthony Richardson, that's got this super high, potential, well, that gets guys fired. So, look, I don't think it's wrong to draft a good quarterback in the top half of the first round, but you can easily argue that it's not going to get you to the ultimate goal.
What are you hearing, Jeff?
Yeah, look, I've known Joe Schoen, the general manager of the Giants, for a very long time, and he was working under Brandon Beane, the GM of the Bills, and he saw the way that Beane was constructing that roster. They sort of did it together, and they got to the point where they recognized we need to put the quarterback in place now. I mean, Shane understands exactly what he's up against here, and when you get to this point, there's that saying that a good plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed tomorrow. He knows, he's got to get it. And for the Bills, Josh Allen was there for them at that moment. Maybe Josh Allen isn't there at that moment, but I believe that Joe is at the point now where he understands what is at stake here. And even if it is